The security can be a bit intrusive. There's a bit of a downside to it. You've got a long stumble back to your bed. It is kind of seen as the cheap accommodation. Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another video. It's a bit of a different background today, and that's just because we're doing up my room, which I'm very excited for. If you are new to this channel, then hello, my name is Dane Mellows. Don't forget to drop a like rating and subscribe straight away before we do anything else. And if you're already subscribed and this is another video that you decided to watch, then thank you, I really appreciate that. Right, we're not going to mess about, we're going to go straight into it. If you're a student that's looking to go to Hull Uni, then you're probably going to want to know about the accommodation. Well, you've come to the right place, because today I'm going to be talking about all three types of accommodation. We've got Westfield Court, Taylor Court and Courtyard, and I'm going to break it down into 3 pros and 3 cons about each of them. And you're probably thinking, how am I going to tell you that, seeing as though I've not stayed in each of them? Well, Westfield Court I can vouch for, because I stayed there last year, and I've asked some friends to tell me their top 3 and bottom 3 things. Top 3 and bottom 3? And I've asked some friends who stayed in Taylor Court and Courtyard last year to tell me their top 3 pros and top 3 cons about each of them. So it should be a pretty useful video. Without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Taylor Court we've got first. So I asked my friend her top 3 pros about Taylor Court. The first one she said is it's quite cheap, which is very true. How much is it? It's £125 per week. And if you compare that to the £130 for Westfield and £147 per week for Courtyard, then yeah, it's the cheapest accommodation. The prices I've just listed out there, they're the minimums, by the way, so it's a minimum of £125 per week in Taylor Court, £130 in Westfield and £147 in Courtyard. That'll go up if you get like an ensuite or a bigger room, all stuff like that. The next pro for Taylor Court is the location. It's really close to Spa, Asylum and the library, which is obviously an ideal location. If you're coming back from a night out on campus, then you're really close to Taylor Court. It's just around the corner. Yeah, I'd really say Taylor Court is like in the middle of everything that you want to be around. And a third pro is, my friend has said that she loved the community and the group chat gossip. So if that's for you, then that's for you. I probably wouldn't really appreciate the gossip in the group chats, but if that's your thing, then that's your thing. Taylor Court could be for you. Some cons for Taylor Court though. The doors go through seasons of causing earthquakes when they shut. I don't know if uni accommodation doors are supposed to cause earthquakes, but in my experience they haven't. To be fair, doors are meant to cause earthquakes, aren't they? So that's a completely normal thing. I'm guessing she kind of means like the flat shakes a little bit if the door gets slammed, or I don't really know. The second con is it's less safe, as the flat doors were usually propped open. I'm guessing that's kind of like a flat decision though. If you want to prop the door open, then you prop the door open. If you don't want it open, then you come to the decision as a flat to keep it closed. The third con is that it could get quite loud for a quiet accommodation, because it was basically used as an asylum pathway on Wednesdays. Now, I can say this now, with being off campus, we do walk past Taylor Court to get to asylum. I can see how it could get quite loud after a night out, but I'm not gonna lie, that could be anywhere. The thing is, after a night out, it could get too loud in any accommodation, and someone could end up calling you out on the uni anonymous Facebook page for being too loud at 3 in the morning screaming about your YouTube channel. But that can happen to anyone. Okay, so that's Taylor Court summed up. We'll move on to Courtyard next. So the first pro of Courtyard is the rooms are very easy to make homely. Lots of storage space. From the Courtyard rooms that I've seen, they do have a lot of room. You can lay things out really nice. They've got like a nice structure and layout to all the rooms. They are actually really nice. I think they do have a lot of underbed storage as well. I will be a bit of a traitor here as well and say that looks wise, on the outside, I would say Courtyard is probably the most appealing to the eye. It's the white design to it. It just makes it stand out and look nice. Anyway, the second one she said is, in a flat of 8, you get 4 fridges and freezers, so you only have to share with one other person, which is great. So you get a lot of fridge space, which is ideal. You fat pig! Because you're probably going to be stacking your fridge up with a lot. If you're not at uni yet, then you're probably not used to doing weekly shops and getting everything you need for a week. It's actually quite a bit of food, and you need the space. If you're sharing it between a lot of people, then it's gonna be quite hard. The third pro is that it's a really convenient spot. It's close to Spa, the nightclub, the gym, and quite a few campus buildings. It's literally right outside the sports hall, which is where the gym is. It's all this brand new facility. It's really nice. So if you're going to be using the campus gym, then it could be an idea for looking to Courtyard. The entrance and the exit to Asylum, the nightclub, literally faces the entrance to Courtyard. So noise-wise, I guess that it might not be the best, but convenience-wise, once you're done at Asylum, you can literally get back to Courtyard in like 60 seconds. So on to the cons. The bathroom doesn't have that much storage space. There's one shelf, so you have to get things to hang up to create more storage, which is a bit of a pain, I guess. I've never actually seen a Courtyard bathroom, but I'll try and put a picture up now so you guys can have a bit more of an idea of what we're talking about. You do kind of want as much bathroom space as possible. Obviously I can only vouch for Westfield, which we'll get onto next, but hopefully the picture I found gives you a bit more of an idea. So the second con is only one washroom and it was located by the reception. Feel like it would be easier to have another one at the back for further away blocks. Yeah, that would make sense. It all kind of depends on how many there is in there, how many like washing stations there are actually in the washing facility. I guess that would be quite annoying for the blocks that are at the back. It's not a massive accommodation block, but it's a fair distance if you're taking all your dirty washing. I remember one time in Westfield last year, it was chucking it down with rain and it was the biggest winds I've ever seen because you're right at the edge of the country in Hull. The winds are absolutely mad. I put my washing in, put it in the dryer, all nice and clean, nice and dry. I go back to take it to my accommodation, which is literally around the corner. By the time I got there, all my clothes were wet again. That's how bad the rain was. Little anecdote for you there. The third con is the sofa in the kitchen is realistically big enough for 2 and only 2. It wasn't such a problem, but then if you've got 8 or more in there, you have to sit on chairs that aren't as comfy, especially when you're in there for a long period of time. Yeah, that would be very annoying, especially with flats of 8. I guess that it would make more sense to have comfier chairs for more people. If you're going to have guests round as well, if you're going to have some of your mates round, then you're going to want them to sit on nice things. You can't invite like 5 people around, like, yeah, us 2 live here, so we're going to sit on the couch, the rest of you on the floor. Okay, and last but certainly not least, we've got Westfield Court, which is where I stayed, and because I know I'm making this video, I thought I might be a little biased, so I've actually asked one of my friends who lives there now to give their top 3 things. So, good quality rooms in terms of size and layout. It's very homely, which I can definitely vouch for that. If you've seen my room tour, then you'll know. If you haven't, then check it out. I'll link it up there. You've got these like box shelves next to the cupboard, which are pretty cool. And then you've got 2 like rectangular shelves. Wait, can you shut up? I'm trying to film a video. Right, the radiator's calmed down now. So what was I saying? Oh, that's it. You've got 2 shelves above the desk, so you can put whatever you want on there. You've got a lot of space. You've got under bed storage, and the bathroom's quite nice as well. You can open the mirror and you've got a bunch of shelves in there. I think in the bathroom you've actually got a shelf above the sink or just behind the sink, and then you have behind the mirror you have 2 or 3 shelves in there, so you've got quite a lot of space. Another pro for Westfield is decently noise-proof rooms, which is very true. I'm pretty sure unless you like scream at the top of your lungs, then you're not really gonna be bothered by other flatmates in there if they're being too loud. Say if you're in a flat with a bunch of gamers, you're not gonna hear it if they're raging. Another pro is that there's lots of buildings in Westfield. I think in Taylor Court you have names of buildings similar to how you do in Westfield, and in Courtyard you have numbers. Or maybe letters, I'm not sure, maybe a mix of the 2. In Westfield, I stayed in Seacole, but you've also got like Pankhurst, Douglas. I think there's probably about 6 or 7 altogether, so you've got quite a few, which means there's a fair amount of students that are going to be there, which makes it a bit easier to make friends if that's what you're worried about. Save people from your course after a lecture, you're both walking back to Westfield, you can make friends there. Walking back from a night out, you can make friends there. Another thing about Hull, actually, it's not really related to the accommodation, but everyone is really friendly, so that's nothing to worry about. But the cons of Westfield are the security can be a bit intrusive. I never actually had a problem with this, but I have heard some stories about where the security had come in awkward times. Take that as what you will. They don't come through for like the fun of it. They come through to check like the alarms and the smoke detectors, things like that. You do get a bit of warning about it, but they can push the limits a little bit. Another con is that it's the furthest accommodation away from the SU and Asylum. Yeah, that's a bit of a downside to it, because if you have a little bit too much fun in Asylum and you take it a bit too far, then you've got a long stumble back to your bed. But at the same time, if you go back at a similar time to everybody else, then you could have some pretty funny chats with some strangers on the way back. And strangers become friends. That's what I'm talking about. And the final con is that a flat of 6 shares 2 fridges and 2 freezers. So how in Courtyard before I was saying that you've got plenty of fridge space, in Westfield you kind of don't. You've got enough. In the flat that I stayed in, we had a flat of 6 and somehow the fridges got split 4 and 2. So me and my flatmate ended up sharing. It was just the two of us in one fridge, and there was 4 in the other one, which worked out very well for us. We just never said anything, and the other 4 didn't even pick up on it. But yeah, that is where I'm going to wrap up this video. We've done 3 pros and 3 cons for each accommodation, and if this video has helped you out in any way, shape or form, then please drop a like rating and subscribe if you are new. I'm planning this year to be a big one, and I would very much appreciate any support that you could give me there. Also, comment down below any questions you have, because I'd be happy to help out with stuff like this. And I just kind of want to hear what you guys are thinking about the videos, or if you've got any videos that you want me to do, then comment it down below and I will get right on it. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Dave Mellows, and I'll see you next time.